Forget CNN, CBS, NBC, CNBC, MSNBC, MSN Messenger, whatever alphabet soup passes for news nowadays, because the best news source in the world is North Korea's Pyongyang Times. Maybe you're like me and you're eagerly anticipating the New Year's propaganda poster, which alternates from dude shouting in megaphone to group progressing steadfastly towards brighter future. Or maybe you just want to keep tabs on North Korea's missile program, which we're assured is for defensive purposes only. But of course, the real star of the show is respected leader Kim Jong-Un, whose name, by the way, is always printed slightly larger than the rest of the article. Except for this one time I found, which probably led to a lifetime of forced labor for whoever made this mistake. In recent editions, Kim is seen cutting ribbons at new factories. And I know there's a lot of outrageous propaganda about the Kims, but I'd be willing to bet that Kim Jong-Un actually holds the world record for most ribbons cut in one lifetime. If you ever play rock, paper, scissors against the dear leader, I strongly advise you to pick rock, because his muscle memory will force him into scissors. These factory openings are part of the state's 20x10 policy, building industrial factories in 20 regions in the next 10 years. And Kim does more than just cut the ribbons. He's also there to give orders, which is why there's always a bunch of dudes meticulously taking notes. But he's not just there to bark orders. He's also happy to get his hands dirty, whether it's pointing out which clams are the tastiest, quality controlling the machines, and personally sniff testing every single bar of soap produced in North Korea. There's a lot you can learn from these photos if you pay close attention. For example, that just like his father and grandfather before him, Kim is a smoker. Here he is at the 11th plenary meeting of the 8th Central Committee, the 2025 edition of an annual gathering of North Korea's who's who. A closer look at the photos reveals that Kim's hair doesn't hold for the entire meeting, a clear sign that North Korea is unable to produce high-quality hairspray. But hairspray is the exception, not the rule. In 2024, they achieved all of their economic development targets. Production rates were between 101 and 127% for everything from steel to fertilizer to electricity. They also used this meeting to align on their goals for 2025. You know when you're writing an essay and you're doing your best to hit the minimum word threshold, so you just keep adding meaningless words that don't actually add any meaning? That's exactly how these goals were written. For example, it stressed that the light industry sector should raise the improvement of quality as the primary task and direct efforts to improving the quality of condiments and consumer goods, and the Socialist Party for the children and students. What? But it's not all business and serious doom and gloom. They also make an effort to portray Kim as fatherly and friendly. Here he is visiting school children, and these kids are absolutely losing their minds. These two are just straight up crying, and I'm pretty sure this guy in the back has shit his pants. Speaking of kids, Kim's daughter, Kim Ju-ae, who inherited her father's great taste in leather jackets, is often seen at Kim's side, whether it's during New Year's celebrations or while visiting creepy, empty, perfectly clean tourist buildings. And again, if you look closely, you'll see Kim taking a smoker break. Some Western observers think that this signals that Kim Ju-ae is North Korea's heir apparent. The other leading candidate is Kim Jong-un's sister, Kim Yo-jong. She's been attending high-level meetings with Kim, whether she's at his side when he meets with Putin or shaking hands with President Trump. Boy, is it going to be awkward when North Korea has a female leader before the US does. And this isn't the only time that North Korean women have exceeded expectations. In 2024, North Korean women won the Under-17 and Under-20 Football World Cup. And this is no anomaly either. North Korea has the most wins in both tournaments' histories. Western woman, what the f*** is going on here? Can someone please explain to me how North Korea is dominating women's youth football? And the sports section isn't the only time we get to hear about the world beyond North Korea. The newspaper also boasts an impressive international section. Where else can you hear from axis of evil countries like Belarus and Iran and Venezuela? But the most positive press is reserved for the regime's two biggest sponsors, China and Russia. When Xi came to visit in 2019, the newspaper looked like Kim's personal Instagram feed. Look at these two lovebirds cruising through Pyongyang together. And it wasn't all business and meetings either. They had multiple banquets, grand artistic performances which included a giant China flag with Xi's face on it, and even a romantic walk through the park before Kim waved Xi goodbye at the airport. Putin's visit in 2024 was even more sensual. Airport embrace, cruise through the streets of Pyongyang, banquets, artistic performances, a romantic walk in the park, but this time with horses, North Korea's national dog gifted to Putin, an even more intimate drive, and Putin was even awarded North Korea's highest honor, the Order of Kim Il-sung, before also being waved off at the airport. The waving is my favorite part of all of this. It reminds me of the ending of every single Pokemon episode ever, where Ash would wave goodbye to the friends he had made that episode. Even Russia's defense minister got a warm welcome when he visited. Presumably he was there to discuss North Korea's support of Russia's war in Ukraine. This was just a few weeks after reports of North Korean troops fighting in Ukraine emerged. Although, weirdly, there's no mention of that at all in the Pyongyang Times. I guess they were just keen to meet up, have a chat, attend the concert, and have a nice dinner together. Who knows? You can actually learn a lot from what isn't covered by the Pyongyang Times. For example, the term Ukraine war only appears 3 times, compared to 34 times for Russia's preferred special military operation. There's also no mention of Navalny or China's alleged concentration camps or the protests that swept through Iran in 2022. They make sure to present their allies in the best light possible, but they're more than happy to dunk all over their enemies. They describe Japan as a crime-ridden society. A man killed his mother by pouring hot water on her for 5 hours. An eldest son chopped his father to death with an axe. A woman in her 40s murdered her mother and cut her body into pieces to put them into several sacks. A grandson slayed his grandmother. What, he just killed her? He didn't blend her body into a smoothie or something? Boring. A woman burnt the corpse of her suckling and threw it away by the seashore, while another woman threw away her newborn baby in a lavatory. That's more like it. South Korea also gets a lot of attention. Whether it's Kim Yo-jong calling them scum for sending various kinds of political agitation leaflets and dirty things near the southern border, or claiming that half of South Koreans are unemployed, 57.6% have tuberculosis, and that American soldiers with AIDS are posted in the South as a deliberate policy to infect the South Korean population. And that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Americans. Trump was derided as a lunatic, a madman for using all kinds of abusive language and committing rash acts, with medical experts of the US keeping close watch on his behavior, unanimously describing his conduct as abnormal, psychopathic symptom. But the negative press about Trump stopped rather abruptly, right before a summit with Kim, which also made the front page, but didn't get nearly as much attention as Xi and Putin. They even included this unflattering photo of Trump, which I think is revenge for Trump asking photographers to make sure everyone looks nice and handsome and thin, with this look on his face, while Kim had this look on his face. Go and watch that video. It's probably the best video ever uploaded onto YouTube. The last direct mention of Trump was Kim extending his sympathy to Trump and Melania after they got COVID. They're much less kind to Biden. In this article, they allege that Americans call Biden 1% Biden with low IQ, mad Biden, Biden not awakened from a sleep. I've never heard the first two, but I'm pretty sure Biden not awakened from a sleep is North Korean for Sleepy Joe Biden. This was all in retaliation for Biden calling Kim a tyrant. And the article goes on to tell Biden to listen carefully. Anyone who dares slander the dignity of the supreme leader of the DPRK can never spare the DPRK's merciless punishment, whoever and wherever. he will be made to see, even in a grave, what horrible consequences will be brought about by his thoughtless utterances. Rabid dogs like Biden can hurt lots of people if they are allowed to run about. They must be beaten to death with a stick before it's too late. Anyone who dares slander the Supreme Leader, merciless punishment, horrible consequences, beaten to death with a stick, whoever and wherever. You don't think they mean me, right? I mean, I didn't even make fun of the giant wart on his face. Alright, better safe than sorry. 제가 감히 동담한 곳은 깊이 싹과 둘리며 친애하는 진도자 동지께 정삼굴 맹세합니다.